Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Pittsburgh. Take two. Good evening, and welcome to the Pittsburgh's only sports show in town that is number one in small colleges campuses all over the world, specifically UVA-Wise down there in Virginia, little corner of Virginia in southwestern Virginia. Very popular there. It may only be two people, but that counts, so we're going to go with that. We're missing one tonight. One is under the weather, but he is producing in the background, so if there's a need for a question that we can't answer, we always have that option of reaching out to the producer. But he is under the weather. So just the three of us tonight. We have the sexy Sax. We have Dr. McCown and myself. A-Train is down, but I think we're going to be able to take you through the night and see how it goes. Welcome to all the visitors. We crave comments because that's what we need to keep our show going. And we're going to start us off real quick right now. We're going to start with the Pittsburgh Steelers. First question, we're going to start off with the doctor because he has more knowledge on the Steelers than the other guy does. But who knows? We'll find out. Why in the world do you not have a quarterback yet, Mac?
It's a great question. We're in love with the one we can't have. I think it's pure. We've been talking the same thing for a month and a half or two now. It seems like 3. Anyway, I think they're going to wait for him. I don't agree with it. I think time should. We should have ultimatums. We should have timelines on this guy. They should bring him in and just put the law down. He's either in or he's out. I think everybody on the planet knows that he's out, but doesn't send a good message at your franchise that you're even in control of your own roster. It's just poor, pathetic. I don't understand it. Trace, I don't even want to talk about it anymore.
Hit us, Trace.
Yeah, I don't understand the mystery with it all or why. I mean, I get having time off and whatnot, maybe getting away from the game for a minute, getting away from everything for a minute, but I don't understand why not solidifying it if you're coming back or not, because either he's working out still and moving on because at 42, you can't just take 3 days off. You'll be 4 weeks behind, right? You can only take a day and a half off and you got to start again. So he either has made contact and they know what's going on yet and they haven't released it to us, or I don't know. Maybe he's just liking the mystery because he likes having everybody talk about him.
Well, Trace, I got a question for you, right? So even if he was on the roster, there's nothing going on.
Agreed.
There's no responsibility. So why not just, and to Mac's point, it really sends a bad message. It really does. And my next follow-up question to both of you, and Trace will start us off, is what's the plan B, Trace?
Right now, I think it's Howard and whatever quarterback they can get. I think they're looking at Ty Simpson, weren't they? They were trying to get after him. And then there was another guy from, who did I tell you, Eddie, on the phone? North Dakota State?
Yes, North Dakota State quarterback you like a lot.
Crow or what? Crow?
Yeah,
he can play ball. I don't know about throwing. I saw his stats, but it sounds like he was an athlete, and that's what they were looking at with him.
He's definitely an athlete. So why not Mason Rudolph?
I think we've seen enough of a test set to realize that he's our backup.
Right.
Well, I think Howard either makes the cut or he's holding the clipboard, one of the two. It's either the rock or the clipboard. Which one?
All right, we're going to go over to Cole Payton, as you were talking about, Trace. We're going to go over to Mac. And Mac, what is plan B? After all your frustrating comments, and they're very legitimate. I mean, believe me, because it is an embarrassment.
Well, yeah, I hear the Will Howard talk, and frankly, I don't think the guy's cut out to do the job, or else he probably would have got a couple snaps. But I agree with Trace that you gotta. I know last preseason didn't amount to what we wanted for the kid to even look at him. So to see him even in to play the grocery store guy that's eighth team, if you will. We didn't get a chance to see that in preseason, 2 or 3 or nothing, so right. So you gotta showcase, you gotta let them play a little bit in preseason at minimum. But again, if you let Aaron Rodgers, walk this tight line in this rope, you got to get him in there. This guy ain't spring chicken. He has to get some reps in. Okay, I know his mind is there, but he's got to get into gameplay because he's an older guy. And you got to let that guy get into the game. So what does that leave for Will Howard if he does come? Plan B, Kirk Cousins still out there. I've heard a little bit of talk, last week, this week. I was off a few days last week, and I watched, an overabundance of, just highlights after talk show and just keep going. But I heard many people express the Kirk Cousins talk, and why not move? We've been talking about this for a month or so, though, Ed, Trace. I don't know why he's not plan A, but that's a whole different discussion. So
I'm not a fan of that.
What's plan B? I think Aaron's plan B, but in their heads, they're married to him. They're not giving up on this.
It is interesting. So, follow-up question now for you, Trace.
Mm-hmm.
So, what is the engine in 2026 that runs this offense?
Wow, that's a heck of one, Eddie. So, I think they got more powerful. I don't know how they're going to make that look just yet. But with Pittman coming on as a possession receiver, he's a bigger guy. He wins the combative balls that you got to go up for and whatnot. I like the running back. I mean, Gainwell was very versatile for us, but I think they're going to try to hand the ball off to this guy a lot more than they are try to get him out of the backfield and throw to him. If they don't solidify the offensive line, Eddie, I don't know what they're doing, because right now it looks like they're trying to get everybody together, hand the ball off, and then throw just off of that. Like, I don't think they're going to be a heavy passing offense like they were this past year. It's going to be more of a balanced approach here.
Mac, to you, is the engine for this offense is the engine for this offense on the team yet, or no?
What are you saying?
I'm sorry. What did you say?
I said, is the engine for this offense on the team, yes or no, right now?
Well, I guess that's still to be determined. Well, you don't got a gunslinger. You don't got nobody dishing the ball out. It's kind of hard to address that question. And as long as they keep letting, and I'll say it, it's hostage. Like he's holding this franchise, cuffed. And shame on the entire organization for letting that happen. I was okay with this last year because this guy wasn't even a part of the team. And that's a different take. This guy has been in the locker room. He's worked with these guys. He knows these guys, and he's still doing this. It's damn right pathetic. I don't understand why they would let that happen to their own organization, especially with a new coaching staff. What are you doing?
Yeah, it's true.
Well, it might be a new coaching staff, but him and Mike McCarthy have a relationship. That's why I'm not. If the entire organization isn't complaining right now, I'm thinking there's something done already.
Trace, Mike McCarthy's mindset right now, right? He's planning his debut in Pittsburgh as a coach, his hometown, all the blah 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 that comes with it, the obsession the Steelers have with people that grew up here, all that stuff. I don't think he's set up for success. To Mac's point, how is he planning? It's because they're completely different offenses, like you were talking about. Like, what do you do as Mike McCarthy? It's twice the work, is it not? Go ahead, Trace.
I do think it's twice the work because they got to restructure it all now. Like, they don't even have the same packages that they will last year, right? So how's it going? It's going to be a totally different look, really. Even if some of the same personnel were there. Even like I was watching Jonnu Smith in there. Like I just think that his poor performances, just even having anybody in there that just breathes, is going to be better than that guy was. But setting the edge with Washington, I think it's there, right? Now, you don't seem to like the line. I think that they're going to draft a lineman, and it might even be a guard that they go after if guys are available to do what I'm saying, which is turn around, hand the ball off, and try to get some sausage out of that way.
So you think that first-round pick is going to be that guard out of Penn State?
Vega, is it?
He's the number one guard. His name is
Olivia.
Yes,
that's what we call him.
Well, Vega.
He's number one guard in the draft. And they're sitting there at their normal spot, which is 20 or 21.
We're at 21.
Right? I don't think they take the kid out of Fano, the big kid out of Utah. I don't think they take him. There is also the guy out of Alabama who's awesome. But I really, who do they take? Well, you have Blake Miller out of Clemson, 6'7", 317, that a lot of have mocked to Pittsburgh. But
so If one of those guys are available, it could be a tackle. But I'd see those tackles that you're talking about going earlier on. And about pick 21, I see a guard being available. After they go, once somebody picks a wide receiver, they're going to make a run on wide receivers, right? Or whatever they want to go after. As soon as somebody picks one and somebody gets gun shy, they're going to go after one type of position. I don't think
it happens every year.
Guard. Yeah. It's not going to be guard. So at 21, we could get a guard. There's
a lot of tackles in this draft. It's at least 5 or 6 deep. I mean, and you got the kids. Ioane is the guard that everybody covets right now because he is the best guard out there. But you have massive tackles out of Utah, that are there.
Well, to jump in, I mean, I I agree with you, Ed. There's tons of people on the O-line side of this draft. And I keep hearing, and I love the idea of them drafting a guard, Trace. I think that's the move that they should make, especially if they can get that kid from Penn State. Again, not to stay hometown, but he's right down the road. The kid is the best. Every single board has him as the best guard in the game. So if they don't go after him, I think it's silly, especially if he's there. I mean, if you don't got to make a move for him, it's a no-brainer. You don't have nobody really to go and play that position now. Your starter's gone. He's gone. So, but I keep hearing this stupid receiver thing again. You know what I mean? I agree with you. There's so much talent in tackle and guard. I don't know why you would do anything else.
I think that's the smart move. And Trace, you've always believed in building from the inside out because that anytime you get, a better defense or offensive line, it makes everybody behind it better. Then you don't need the premier receivers,
Well, especially you start seeing the quarterback and the running backs get comfortable. Like they're taking their steps. They're looking for their second and third moves instead of worrying about if they have to run for their life or not, You start throwing a couple of lookout blocks at them, and all of a sudden they get a little skittish.
Right. I mean that's really been the biggest problem I think out there as well.
More importantly, you don't have a mobile quarterback. One, if Rodgers does play, and if he doesn't, and we get this thing that Trace is talking about with bringing Will Howard in, you need this kid to not be under attack, distress the whole time. Yeah. I mean, you have to have that position. You have to. It's just there's no other way around it.
I complete total agreement. I mean, they have to do something with that. But in talking about that, hello guys, happy Wednesday. Yo, it's Daniel. What's up, Daniel Berry? Honestly, who is going to be on the cover? Like when they go to a game, like, hey, it's the Steelers versus the whoever, Steelers versus the Bengals, Steelers versus the whoever's. Who's going to be on that promo? Is it going to be the old guys? Is it going to be a new guy? Who is actually the very face of this franchise at this point?
You mean who's the movie poster guy?
Yeah.
His name.
Great question, Ed. Great question. I'll let you take that, Trace, because I'm dumbfounded.
I think he has the name Pitt in his name. Right? He is a Pittman.
Trace, you guys are – I'm telling you, watch this guy play. He is DK Metcalf. They're almost the exact same measurable size. They do not have – I mean, they're bigger, but they don't do bubble screens well in Pittsburgh. That's what they did in Seattle with DK. They do a bubble screen, the guy would take off. They do a slant, he would take off. He wasn't effective on the slant. He had a couple shots, but – I
don't know if you noticed on some of those slants, they kind of – it was like a bubble screen almost up in the open field, just he didn't have anybody else there.
Yeah, but everybody in the NFL runs that trips right, trips left. Yeah. One of those guys becomes the primary and the other two block. They don't do that in Pittsburgh. No. For whatever reason, that's not part of their repertoire, which is crazy because it's a copycat league. But I was thinking about that as the games were coming out today, the 2 games they announced, and they had the movie poster on, right? So you had your Matthew Stafford – and I forget who else. I forget who they're playing, but they had Stafford on there, and then they had the 49ers. They had, Brock it dawned on me, like, who in the heck are you going to put on? You can't keep putting the same old guys.
Well, and it's a great question again, Ed. I love it, but there's nobody from the offense that's going to be on that poster. I don't care who you listen. As much as I don't want to say it, it's going to be the T.J. Watt show. He's in there, and you're going to have Hayward standing there beside him with JP, in the background. They're going to do those three horsemen on the defense, even though they're two of them are way past their prime, and one of them, to me, is still yet to be determined as a superstar. Is he a good player? He's a good player. Is he a great player yet? Absolutely not. But those are your three stars, and they're not angels, okay? They're just not.
Right. All right, here's another one for you, right? So we've heard all the prognostications and all that. We've heard everybody talk about it. We'll start with Trace this time. What is the most Yinzer thing you've heard this offseason about the Steelers, Trace?
Most Yinzer thing I've heard this offseason? Yeah. I don't know. That we signed a guy with the name Pittman.
And it could be your Yinzer thing as well. So Tracy's in favor of the Pittman. Mac, what do you think? What's the most Yinzer thing you've heard?
I like him, and I've heard so many accolades for this guy, and I understand he's coming home, and I'm going to stay on that word. Homer McCarthy. I don't know what else to say, but dope. Really? I mean, I don't see any super changes. I don't see any discipline comments from the guy. I mean, I like McCarthy. I'm rooting like hell for him. I mean, I think you had to make the change, but so far it's been really lackluster. And they gave him the carpet, and I get it. Homecoming, put the crown on him, but he ain't that damn pretty.
So we're going to start with you this one, Matt. What position group do you think is hurting the most right now on the Steelers?
Whew.
Robert Carter says, "Go Pittsburgh Steelers." What position group do you think needs the most attention with what's left in free agency in the draft?
Is that for me?
Yeah, you're starting us off.
Yeah, I'm going to stay on the O-line. I mean, I still want them to draft O-line to beef that up a bit. I know Trace thinks they're poised and ready to roll. I don't disagree with them totally, but they need some fine-tuning, and it's just for the simple fact that, they either got inexperience or over-experience grabbing the ball from center. Okay. And so you got to beef that up regardless of which one. You don't have mobile, you don't have anything. But I'll leave you go, Trace. I'm going to stay on the line. They need to improve it. I think it's the worst they got.
Robert Carter says quarterback. Go ahead, Trace.
I wouldn't disagree with quarterback, but I don't think the guy is there. I don't think the person we want to draft is there. That's why I think with the deep pool of O-linemen, particularly at left tackle, I think that we will have that guard available and get after that left guard. With Malu leaving, that's a huge hole to fill. Anderson could fill that gap, but he's still not proven, right?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right about that. That's why that tackle position looks better for them, because they don't really have he's from Henderson, Kentucky. My daughter's down there in Lexington going to UK. Mr. Carter there. Steeler fan from Kentucky. That's awesome. I agree, though. I just don't understand. I'm never going to understand their quarterback position. But here's one for you, Mac. How would you rate their roster construction over the past couple of years? The Steelers.
You mean the new one? You mean the current one, or just
year? Yeah, include this one and the 2 years.
It's been. I guess I would probably say C+. At best. I think they for what it's worth, I think they paid for talent that they thought was going to grow. And it wasn't, knee high by July, so to speak. It just didn't work. They paid for defense. They had the old defense. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
Shuck that, Trace. How about that one?
All right. Trace, you're up. Same question.
Yeah, their defense, Mac. Just that main point right there you made. I really think that they needed to come through a lot more than they did. I think the offense put them in a lot of really bad situations last year. I think the punter put them in even worse situations, but I think that defense, with the amount of money they're paying, and some of those guys, particularly making $47 million a year, they need to have a lot better stats and shut down a whole lot more than what they're doing here.
Yeah. So to ask the obvious follow-up question, Trace, we'll start with you. How confident are you in the future of their construction of this roster? You think they're going to be heavy draft like they were in the past? Think they're going to be heavy free agency? And do you trust them?
Trust, no. I think they're going to be a mix, because the reason I don't trust him is the players that he's brought in. He paid the highest paid defense in the league. I don't know where we rank, but it got to be somewhere near the middle for the whole year, right? So if we're bringing all these people in and spending all this money, we should be closer to the top 5, which is what Pittsburgh fans really want. Like the middle of the road, that means he is completely missing the mark on that. The offense could be that bad. We went through Mark Malone, Bubby Brister. We could handle these types of things. But the defense being in the middle of the league, we got to change this thing. So, no, I don't have trust in him to do it, and he has yet to prove himself. Hopefully Brisker starts bringing this thing home for us. So,
Max, same question to you, brother.
Well, and I'm not going to jump on you, Trace, but if we're saying we expect top 5 or top 10, we didn't get top 15. We didn't get top 20 last year. Okay, let's just be honest. Okay, we were bad on the defensive side of the football. I mean, we weren't even close to top 5. Now, mind you, I gave them a C, and the reason I did is because I think they paid for people that they thought was going to produce, and they swung hard, and they missed by a mile. Okay, but top 5, there's no way we get to top 5. I don't know how. I like the moves they made, but we gotta get to mediocre top 15 first. And so I have promised they can get back to the middle of the pack. I don't think they can get much higher than that. They didn't make that much splash on the defense. I mean, I do like the couple guys they picked up, but, you know, I can't see them jumping into old-style Steeler football, though.
That back end of the defense pickups, those are pretty big. However,
I agree with you. I like them.
I think the middle linebackers still needed to be improved, and if TJ doesn't show up and just sell out, then we're screwed either way.
Well, I mean, he didn't last year.
That's right.
I just don't see it happening this year. I like Brisker. I went on record to say I do like Brisker. You get an actual safety back there as opposed to whatever Dippy Doo was doing the whole game. I mean, he was kind of just guessing. He decided when he came up. He decided, you know, he's not Palomalu. That's what I thought he had in his head, right? But he's just not that. He's not that person, you know. No. And he was too unreliable in the deep ball, too unreliable in tackling. You know, I think he was out of position. But you get Brisker there, but Brisker's really a free safety. He's not a strong safety. So you essentially have 2 free safeties back there with Ramsey. So I would have liked to have seen them pick up, you know, somebody who can come down in the box and assist, right? You know, a 210, 215-pound safety, you know, 6'1" kid.
I wouldn't mind if they re-signed Duggar. That'd be all right.
Yeah, they haven't done that yet. And I'm curious. Here, another question I have for you. I'm going to start with Mac. Mac, what if the Steelers went out and spent money on the offense? I'm sorry, spent money on the coaching staff, i.e. meaning you go and get McCarthy. Then you go get a Dayball, a Mike, you know, the coach of the Dolphins, right? You go get him. What if on defense you go get a really good defensive coordinator, right? Like Mike McDermott, or what's his name? Sean from up in Buffalo who got fired. What if they did that? Who's preventing them from doing it? Yeah.
I don't think there's anybody preventing that. You know, and again,
why not?
I think it's a failure to adapt to modern day football. You know, they had a figurehead, okay, with their old coach, a guy that didn't know the X's and O's, didn't coach one side of the ball or the other. He was that leader, and that's the blueprint, okay, is to have a guy that's the puppet master, right?
Right.
But they didn't have a coordinator that could do anything. So they had a figurehead. They just didn't get anybody that was an OC or a DC
Right.
in any capacity. Okay, and shame on the new staff because I don't see anybody that's that blockbuster in this one. So all I see is another puppet master. And I like McCarthy. I think he could be that guy, but give him somebody.
Right.
You know, I know he's got that offensive mind. I get it.
Sure.
But this defensive coordinator, don't get me started on him again because you know how I went off last time. Okay, that kid is pathetic. He's never. Geez.
All right, Trace.
Sorry.
Same to you, Bubba. The only reason I asked the question is because McCarthy goes to Dallas, takes over Dallas, goes against Dan Quinn, ex-Atlanta Falcons coach, ex-Legion of Boom designer in Seattle. You know, and it worked perfectly. Dallas's defense was good until they weren't. You know, why didn't they do that here? McDermott's out there. Why not?
I don't know, Eddie. I that's why I asked Mr. Ray Filipaldo if we were planning on expanding our coaching staff. And if I'm not mistaken, he mentioned it was going to get robust. I remember they hired a few more guys, like an operations person or something like that, but I didn't see anything else come out of their staff. But I would like to see them hire more just to have more people doing things to make sure we have the entire organization going in the same direction instead of everybody just kind of winging it, you know? Like the coordination it takes to do everything on the day-to-day, let alone on just Sundays, is ridiculous. So I'm not disagreeing with you.
Yeah, it's interesting. All right, a couple more on the Steelers. All right, I got a fun one for both of you, and we'll start with Tracy. Trace, and this is just a total out-of-the-box question. Which single player would you like to bring back to this Steelers roster that would make the biggest difference?
Ever? I mean, like ever?
Ever, baby. Ever, baby. It's a fun question.
Wow. That's heavy, Ogre. How about Kendrell Bell, rookie year?
Ooh, that's interesting. I like that. Mac, what do you have? What are your thoughts, brother?
I don't think there's any question who you grab here. Any Pittsburgh Steeler from any
era. Yeah.
Whew. I mean, I guess I got to go the most needed. Well, I guess I go Roethlisberger maybe because the quarterback slot is really trying. So if I could get him in his prime, I would grab a hold of that.
My second was James Ferrier, by the way.
I would grab a hold of that. But I mean, you couldn't. There's a lot of Steeler defensive players that I think would really.
Oh yeah.
But to go by need, I guess I would go Roethlisberger. Because we need a quarterback.
Yep. Just a fun question, folks. Just seeing how they're doing. All right. We're going to wrap up the Steelers now. We're going to talk about the draft because it is a little less than 30 days or right at 30 days because, March.
What do they have that at,
Ed? And I was preparing for the show. I saw a message put out by the city of Pittsburgh that recommended that everyone take public transportation. So the T doesn't go north, it doesn't go west, it doesn't go east. So not sure what you're going to take. I'm not sure you're getting on a bus. I don't know how they're going to do it. It's going to be fascinating. They put another ad out, said, hey, if you have a broken down disabled car on your road, call 311. They also put out an ad to come help clean up Pittsburgh. They're a little less than 30 days away from this. It's going to be interesting, but the Steelers go into the draft with 12 picks, right? I submit to you two, the Steeler fans, there's no earthly way, if I were the GM, I would come out with 12 players. No earthly way. Wouldn't do it. If you're smart GM, you have draft capital, you move up and down in that draft. I don't care what round it is. If it's the third round, try to get up to the top, take the best player, and stuff like that. You have the draft capital to do it. What say you, Mac?
Well, again, if you take 12 players, you're basically throwing 6 of them away. I mean, how many rookies are going to make the team? So you can draft all of them. I mean, it just shows the lack of intelligence that you have if you go draft every single player. 12 I mean, you can't have 12 rookies on it. Like the most that's going to make a team is probably 6 or 7. That's a reach.
Yeah,
that's a reach, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, you got to stack some and finagle some stuff for next year or whatnot. But yeah, it's just impossible. You got to trade at least 4 or 5 of them away. Ed.
What say you, Trace?
Well, they have 3 round 3 picks, 2 round 4 picks, and 3 round 7 picks. So obviously from those, they have just equity to take and capital to say, hey, listen, we want to move up. Then maybe that's how they get the Vega guy I'm talking about, the guy from Penn State, right? I don't know.
Yeah. So at Vegas, TJG, how about besides Prime Big Ben, Rod Tamir, JPJ at quarterback, or Big Snack to be the nose tackle, or Kirkland to play line?
Yep.
You can't go wrong with any of those picks, honestly.
Not.
You just can't. Those are very good points, and they would definitely enhance the defense. But I think I'm going to have to, this is a game show, so I'm going to have to give Max the points on the need pick because really that's your most – I can't understand they have not figured that out yet. And they're going to be in quarterback purgatory until they spend the draft capital to get one. I mean, honestly, I really do. So I agree with you, Mac. I mean, even when you take 7 players, I think it's less than that. It's somewhere between – I don't think 5 make it half the time. You might, and it's different. It's not baseball.
Yeah.
Right? You're not stocking you're not stocking your minor leagues. You have 16.
Yeah, you don't own them,
right? But you have 16.
You don't own them,
right? And they're not going to make it. If I were the GM of the Steelers, I would really wheel and deal. I'd like to come out of here instead of the quantity of 12. I want to come out with 5 quality players, 3 of which can be starters. If you're able to do that with 12 picks, I think you win the draft that way. And whether or not it works, we don't know, because everybody's building a puzzle. Some teams, they really focus on the pieces of the puzzle fitting, but once the puzzle's complete, the picture looks like crap, right? Where other teams take their time, they might take them longer to build the puzzle, but once the puzzle's done, it's going to be a picture of something that people recognize. All right, last question on the Steelers. We're going to start with Trace. Trace, if you're an average Steeler fan who is desperate to gain something from the offseason, the free agency, and the draft, what is one thing you would tell them to look at as far as a barometer of what the Steelers are going to be in the fall?
What?
You're an average Steelers fan.
The running back. Well, the running back with the free agent we got of the free agents.
He's going to be the single barometer of how they're going to do in the fall.
Yes, I think that's how we're going to do in the fall. I think we'll do better that way. To answer your question, because I think we're going to have some depth there. They got the 2 that they just signed are the guy we drafted, Johnson, and then we still have the guy we had already. I think platooning at the running back position is going to be able to go deep into the fall, and that's going to give us some momentum.
Okay. Max, same to you. Hopefully you understood
it. I don't disagree that's where it's trending into that conservative running type of game. I mean, I don't think that's successful in this age of the NFL. But my opinion is it's going to dictate who is the quarterback of this football team. It just comes back to that. You don't have one, and until you do, that's the barometer. Okay, a team with no quarterback. I mean, that's what we are right now.
Yeah.
Do you think the team would be okay if we ended up with a running quarterback and just plug and play? Do you think a running quarterback could take the team that we have here and do something with it?
I think it would be better than handing the ball to a young Will Howard or even a Mason Rudolph or whatever. And Mason's going to get you his 8 wins or whatever, and maybe 9 to do that, to do the streak, even though he's not here. But the 9 and 8. But anyway, I think it wouldn't be bad considering you got 2 guys like Metcalf and Pittman. I think that they can stretch the field, and if you had a running quarterback combined with the backfield, with Dowdle and I think it could work a little bit. Does that team go far? Hell no. You know what I mean? But it could win. It could win 10, 11 games. Yeah, I think they could.
All right, last question for the Steelers. We'll start with well, I'll give Trace another chance. We'll start with Trace. Trace, is this the year that the Steelers finally develop an identity for their team? Because they hadn't had one in years.
No, I don't think they're there just yet. They're close. With guys like Brisker coming in, we're getting closer, right? McCarthy coming in, we're going to be closer. to an identity of what we want. But I'm not sure we're there yet. Wait until we start seeing that versus them talking about it.
Very good point. Dr. Mac.
All right, zen with me for a minute here. Ready?
Woosah.
Kirk Cousins signs 2 weeks from now. I have an identity, okay? Kirk Cousins signs 2 weeks from now. I got an identity. I got a solid passing game. I can stretch the field with these two bookend receivers. I got a nice tight end, Freiermuth over the middle, and I love the backfield with a guy that can really throw the football. So there you go. Sign the guy. Let's get an identity.
Mac, that is not a bad idea at all. It just isn't. He's out there, and I think it's a worthwhile signing. Not sure why they don't do it. All right, we're going to do our trends.
Oh, let me get one more.
Oh, sorry.
I would be failed if I didn't say that the greatest Steeler of all time, regardless of what you say, Mean Joe Green. Sorry, go on.
He is the greatest. But my favorite is still Dirt Dawson.
The Dirt, man. The Dirt Dawson. All right, now we're going to transition. We're going to go to a sport that is amazingly played on ice. They have all the skill, and they do it on skates on ice. Very thin layer of ice, but they still do it. All right, your Pittsburgh Penguins. We're going to start with Mac this time, right?
Good luck.
Mac, last 2 games, 5-1, 6-2. I know there's 82, whatever the hell it is, 82 games. Those two, you lost by 4 each. You're -8. Does that scare you at all right now?
Frightened. Okay. You said thin ice. Okay. And wow, you couldn't have said it any more clear. This is tighter than I'll leave it go. But this race is unbelievable. They were in the driver's seat, on Saturday night, right? And they go in Sunday, get their ass handed to them. Okay. And then they follow it up with a Monday debacle. Okay. That's a lot to be. And by the way, that's back to back. You use both of your key goalies, right? I don't know. Does either one of them have confidence after that? I don't know how they could. So yeah, you should be frightened. This house is haunted right now. Trace?
I think they should bring the young man up from down below and try him out, see what he does.
Paruski.
Yeah, just to even give the other guys a break or whatnot, because they're having trouble. The defense is having trouble. The offense isn't moving the puck well. We're not cycling. And when we are doing it right and Braz is working his butt off, the league goes and makes calls that we have goalie interference in the blue paint, and Braz was never in the blue paint. So I don't know. I don't know what you do with that.
Okay, so we're going to start with Trace now. Ready? So given all that we just spoke about, do you consider the Penguins a realistic contender right now, or are they still in the middle of a rebuild?
They're still in the middle of a rebuild. They don't have the goalie, right? Because in this league, even in the playoffs, a hot goalie could steal series, and we don't have that guy.
I like it. Mac?
Yeah, I mean, in the goalie thing, I agree with you, Trace. They don't have one. I mean, Skinner come in. I think he did well. I think he played well. The trade unloaded the money, which is what we want. Don't get me started on Siloffs. That kid's just he is what he is. I mean, he there's no way he should have 30 starts on this team. I don't understand how he does. Mind you, all that said, he's won 15 games. So I don't know how that's happened, but it has.
Well, they're not shootouts.
Well, let's not get going there. I mean, they have one win now, right? But anyway, by the way, that injury to Malkin, okay, yeah. And I dare say this because I think they should have unloaded him a couple years ago, but they are really missing him right now. That is a big loss. Bigger than I don't even know.
Bigger than Crosby, I think.
It is, and
for whatever reason,
yes,
yeah,
yes, I agree with you 1,000,000%, Ed. And I know there's a lot of people out there going, "What?" But
yeah,
but you're right. You're 100% right. That's such a big loss. It was obvious yesterday.
Yeah.
Well, it disrupts the roll of the line, right? They're able to just
Precisely.
load up on Sid, and then there's nothing left.
Right, and you still have an all-star, although aged all-star, he's still an all-star.
Right.
I 100% agree with that because I thought about that too. I'm like, they did better without,
Yes.
I guess Crosby's out, but
Chinakhov needs him.
Yes.
He needs him.
That's why it works. We have a smiley face from somebody up in the Boston area.
Yeah.
Smiley
Boston.
face. Boston. Your cousin from Boston. All right, so we're gonna. All right, Max. So we talking about all that. So up to this point in the season, what do you think the defining storyline is of the Penguins to this point?
I guess I would have said maybe Mantha or one of Chinakhov, of course, but I don't think it's any question is the resurgence and resurrection, dare I say, of Erik Karlsson. This kid is playing out of his friggin' mind. Okay. He is literally the heart and soul of this team right now. I don't know how, I don't know why, but he is the guy right now. And if they're going to make the playoffs, he is the major reason why, period.
Trace, big sacks to you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with what Mac's saying. I just don't see how they're going to be able to do it the way our goaltenders are, right? Not only that, but I know that shootouts don't matter in the playoffs, but if we can't win the shootouts that are going on right now, that means we're not winning the one-on-ones. And you're seeing it on the ice the whole time. They have streaks where they're doing really well. They win periods. Sometimes they even put whole games together, but man, I just don't see them doing much. They might be able to win one round depending on who their first opponent is, but I don't see them doing much after that. I think they're completely still in a rebuild here.
Okay. Speaking of the rebuild mode, let's go back to Dr. Mack. What do you think the realistic time frame for Crosby is as far as retirement?
I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, I think he's going to play another 3 years. I really do. Whether he stays here and plays in this city, which I do think he will, but as time goes on, you face a reality that you just aren't going to win here, unless they get a goalie in the stable and he starts playing. Now, mind you, Skinner could get hot again. He has a pedigree, he has one. So I'm not done with Skinner, but he
made it to the Stanley Cup final, Game 7. Right.
He has that pedigree, and mind you, that he had a lot in front of him. But but he does have the experience, and when you believe you're Superman, sometimes you can live up to half of that. And if he is,
make it, baby.
They can win a series or so if they make it in. That's going to be a tough task. You asked me 3 days ago. I said they're in for sure. Today, I don't know. I'm 50-50.
Trace, your turn.
That was a rough weekend. I think the weekend was telling, Mac. I think it was telling. But, yeah, it might be the age wearing him down, whatnot. It might be Malcolm was gone. I don't know what it was, but it just did not click this weekend. I don't know how they're going to be able to go any farther than the first round. They could win a first round, though.
So the rambling wreck of sacks, we'll keep them to the point. The point was, when do you think, or the question was, realistic timeline on Sidney Crosby retiring from the NHL?
Oh, he's only 38. So, well, Eddie, we can't talk about a whole bunch of shit and then come back because my ADHD won't let me do it. So Sid being 38, I think he can make it to 48 easily, right? Like a Yager did or whatever, right? But I don't see it doing here. So in this age, right? I mean, like the great one, he moved on, right? There was who was the guy? I just had him in my head. The guy from New York, he moved over too. Some of these guys move on real late in their, they move on real late in their careers. Does he do that, or does he stay here and ride it out? But if he does that, that means Malkin and Letang cannot stay.
Totally agree. I mean, I really do. All right, another question for you gentlemen. So the Pittsburgh Penguins sit at 35 wins, right? Thanks to those 16 overtime games, right? They get
gosh.
They get the point. But so the IHF, International Hockey Federation, has moved to, they've always had it, the international scoring, which is 3 points for a win, 2 points for an overtime win, and 1 point for an overtime loss. Mac, do you see the NHL going that way or no?
No, I don't.
Yeah, why would I?
Why not?
Not at all.
Why not?
Well, again, I just think they're set in their ways. They're not going to follow anything. You know, they are Canada driven, and they originate the game. They originate the rules and the laws and everything else. So I don't think they follow international. They don't follow anything in hockey. Nothing.
All right.
Do you think it's a better system? I do.
I do as well. I think it is.
I do. I think they should, but do I think they will? No.
Yeah. Trace, your thoughts on that?
I think that either way it will work. Yeah, whether they get 1 point or no points, we are not good with shootouts.
All right. Okay, this is the final Penguins question until we move on to the next team in our city. We'll go with Trace this time. Trace, Crosby retires, whatever it is, whenever it is. Who do you think becomes, again, the poster for the Penguins? Who is the face of the franchise?
No clue. Right now, Mac, I think, hit the nail on the head. It'd be Carlson at this point. Would be
he's not that much younger than he's 34.
I got it, but you said if Crosby retires, say he retires after this year, right? That'd be there, or Letang, right? It'd be that way. I don't think Malkin wants anything to do with that smoke.
Yeah, that's a good point. Mac?
I guess if I'm going to stick with my 3 years for Crosby, and I'll stay on that. And I'll say he'll go. I'll say he'll go 3 more years after this, and if we can retain him, I'm going to go Ben Kendall.
Didn't see that.
Yeah, I'm going to go Ben Kendall. At that point, he'll be what, in his 5th year? He should be established. He should be at minimum a second, if not bumping Sidney, into a different, role maybe. So let me go Ben Kendall on the wild card here. He's a young buck.
All right, these are rapid fire questions, and this will be the end of the Penguins segment. There's 2 questions. We're going to go rapid fire. Mac, question 1: do they make the playoffs?
Yes, 51-49%. Go.
Tracy, they make the playoffs.
Yes.
Tracy, hold your water. 60, 40. All right, hold your water because you got the next one. Do they win a series?
Yes.
Mac, they win a series?
I'm going to say no.
All right. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, that is your Pittsburgh Penguins for the week. We're going to move now to the Pirates, who play in PNC Park, where the draft should have been, the NFL draft, but for some reason it's not. We're going to go to the Pittsburgh Pirates. Now we're going to start. This one's actually going to start with Tracy, because Tracy's going to read off what he believes to be the lineup for Thursday, which is the opening day for the Pirates in Nueva York, you said? The Mets?
Yeah, they're in New York.
Okay, Trace, give me the starting.
Well, Fulmer got the rock, right? He's a right-handed pitcher. But I think they're going to have Cruz in center field, Lowe on second base, Lau. Reynolds in left field. I think you have Ozuna as a designated hitter, which I actually like that position right there. And then O'Hearn in right field. Already you got the major league hitters right in the middle of that lineup, and then that frees it up. But what I don't like, we got Triolo at short. I do like Horwitz at first. Gonzalez at third. I really think he should be a utility player, not a really solid starter. Davis is catching for us. Other than shortstop and third, I really think we might have a decent lineup, but I don't see us doing more than, 80-some games, 82, 83.
Okay. Mac, you're up.
Well, I mean, I keep hearing that they're going to win 87, 88 games. I've heard several people predicting that. I don't know how that's going to happen, but I'm kind of with you, Trace. I think they're going to get close to that 80 game, if not over. And in reference to Triolo, boy, does he stink. Like he's the bottom of the barrel. I mean, why? I don't get it. But anyway, it's a whole different discussion. And Gonzalez sucks too. And so Yeah, I mean, I'll go 1 to 4 on you, 1 to 5 maybe. They got a decent lineup to start that out. Yeah, I'm okay with it, but I don't think they get to where a lot of I heard MLB experts predicting that they're in the high 80s, and maybe they're just riding this Skeens train, and it is impressive, but the bats need to swing, and they're
I do like the bats though, Matt, because this line I do not mind the way that this flow with Cruz starting off. I mean, obviously he has all that power, but he's still fast, right? And then you got Lowe coming in. I don't want to put Reynolds there with pressure on him to hit him in because
you mean the second? You mean?
In the second, yeah.
I
Low in there, right? So if you put Reynolds in the third slot, all you got to do is make contact, right? He did really well when he was younger in a slot like that versus a power hitter, which we have.
Azuna is the DH, though? I mean, is he master? Are you believing in that?
I think if he's our DH this year, he might do as well, maybe a smidge better than Coach.
Okay, Mac, you're up, Mac. So are the Pirates finally building toward contention, or is this just a reset disguised as progress?
Well, I'm never one to bang the big snare here, but this is probably, and I used to be a huge baseball guy. I watch. I'm a fair weather at best fan. I do pay attention, and I have to admit, they've got my head turning to watch these guys probably more this year than I have in the last 20. So I'm not saying that they're primed and ready, but I do think they can creep into that 80 game season when they can win 80 games, and I'm pretty sure they can get there. I do. I think they are turning the corner, Ed, and yeah.
So the indomitable.
I agree with that. That's
says the Buccos go 83-79, a great season for them.
Yeah,
that's an interesting take there, Mr.
I agree with Sir Robin. I think they're going to get into those low 80s. Yeah.
All right, Trace, what say you? Is this another smoke screen? What is it, buddy?
I don't think it's a complete smoke screen. However, it's not a complete painting yet, right? The eyebrows aren't there. We're still missing a shortstop and a third base. Yeah, I do like Connor Griffin, but he was batting in the 100s, but he was tonning the ball when he was making contact. It just didn't land. It'd be like the same thing as Henry Davis 2 years ago if you brought him up early. I think that's why they sent him down, that and money. But I think if they don't trade to get a third baseman and a shortstop that at least one of them is a bat and one of them is just a solid glove, I think that they're not actually trying here. Also, we don't have a left-handed starting pitcher? Does that sound right?
That does sound right, which is somewhat odd. All right, Chase, I'm going to take this. You're going to start this question off, right? Who would you say on the team, other than Skeens, that's going to have a breakout year? The Skeens is already established. So who do you think on that team will have a breakout year?
I would really like to see Henry Davis have a breakout year, Edward. I really like to see him make contact with the ball finally and have his head right and not get underneath everything and really just make contact. He's a big, strong country kid. I think when he just makes contact, that ball's going to do what it does.
Mac, what say you?
I don't know if any guy completely steps out of the. I think that they kind of got what they got. I don't really see any. I don't see any upside big to. This is to the guys that are starting today. You know what I mean? Tomorrow, excuse me. But I don't really see anybody with that big of an upside. I just don't. I think you're going to get what you're going to get out of these guys. I think you already know that. I don't think you got a superstar lying in that lineup.
All right, Mac, who's got the biggest bat in the lineup?
Well, I guess since I called him out, I guess Azuna.
Trace, who's the biggest?
I don't like that, but I guess I have to call that.
It might be Azuna, man. So that's the hope. We hope it's Azuna, and we hope he just is able to just do it. Even 90% of the games for us this year is a DH, and that'd be great.
He's in the cat seat. He's going to have ribbies to get.
He's going to have the opportunity. That's
he's got. Stage is set. Perform or not.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot on B-Ray. They get on base.
Yeah.
They'll have chances. Trace,
Yeah.
what record do they have to have at the trade deadline to be buyers?
Oh, geez. I mean,
You
normally
don't have to give me numbers. I mean, 2 games over 500, 500, 2 games below. I mean, what do you think they have to be realistically to consider themselves buyers for the remainder of the season?
I think it's going to have to be really high. And the reason I say that, Edward, is they seem to jump out every year a little bit. And then I quit watching around July because they fall off, right?
Yeah.
So once they get up to that point, maybe they make the decision this year finally to make a change that they need and add the couple bats. But I don't know what else they would need to use as a data set. That is the time to make that decision. I don't know.
Mac, what say you?
Well, I mean, I think the magic number in baseball is always 3 games, over 5. And so, if they find themselves in that, depending on how the pitching staff is, which they don't have a whole lot of starts going with this staff, and it's lacking other than a couple, your main hitter. But, it's going to be interesting. But I think 3 games, if they're in that realm, then maybe they make a play for, like you were saying, Trace, to replace that, that shortstop, position or, third or whatever, because those guys are just, they're not even mediocre. They're well below average. So I think they have to I don't think they get there unless they make a move to do that beforehand.
That's a good point. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the game we play every year, and it is upon us. We need a prediction, and we're going to start off with Mac. What is your prediction record-wise for the Pirates this year? I've got the pen. It's been written down.
Whew. I'm going to go 82. I'm going to go 82 wins.
82 and 80.
Yeah.
Got it. Trace?
I'll go reach on that. Yeah.
Trace?
81, Edward.
Oh, even Price is right me.
And he did. He did Price is right you. But, however, he says 81 and 80. I'm going to Price is right him.
Oh.
You're
I'm
going
to say 80 and 82.
Yes, Edward.
So we still have to get Williams' take on it.
Guaranteed. 79.
Yeah. But I think that they did some good things. I just don't think they're committed just yet. And I've asked you guys a gazillion times. It boggles my mind. Type A personality owner. I know what everybody says. He wants to make money, but for me, if I were the PR staff of the Pirates, I'd make sure I play that Cueto clip every time he walks in the building with the packed stadium, and he goes to throw the ball, into his glove, and he loses it. I would play that every time he walks in the building. Oh, hey. It's here, boom! You play that clip, right? Because I don't understand why that was so bad for him, right? Why was that a horrible thing? Because obviously it was, because he's not attempted to repeat it whatsoever, right?
I wonder where you're going with that.
Right, I mean, it's the truth. He has not attempted to recreate that whatsoever. So completely bizarre. Next week we're going to talk about the impending strike, and they will shut the season. It most likely won't be at 27 because they do need a salary cap period, and I don't think the ceiling. I think the basement is so much more important than anything else in any other sport, because I think it can force out these cheap owners and finally get quality people in there who are going to spend some money. I really do. You can't have a league where the almost $400 million Dodgers exist and the $45 million Miami Marlins exist. I mean, that's the league the way it is now, but that's just, it's nonsense. Absolute nonsense. So maybe it's just you can't do it.
Well, let me throw this out. So in reference, I mean, I think that we're all predicting a little higher than we have in probably the last 3 or 4 years, or probably 5 years actually. And so can we all three agree that this roster, at least on paper, looks like the best roster they've had in 5 years?
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. You're right.
Okay.
But it could. I mean,
so there is some optimism. Not that they're making major moves, but
they sent the kid down. You never should have sent the kid down. He should be up in the majors. He can
It's the addition
I agree
of
with
the
you.
back, right? It's Lowe, Ozuna, and O'Hearn being added on, which is what all of us understood as the downfall, right? When you have Skeens, we already predict he's going to be a 20-game winner this year. But those are the 3 bats that are going to make the difference of that. I just think they're missing 2 more now.
Yeah.
Imagine if Connor was in the lineup. What would the excitement be just in the fan base?
Connor.
I know. I didn't agree with that, but they play the way baseball works with the, with the
I know.
money is so weird. But
I would Friolo and Gonzalez platooning third base, but I don't like that they're the opening day starters.
That's again, a little odd. All right, we have about 30 seconds or so. Pittsburgh Riverhounds started off season 1 and 2. They can't really score, and their biggest problem is it's so many new faces that it's taken a little bit more time to get together and start producing a winning team. The opening game is this Saturday. William and I will be there for Stream Punk Entertainment. Look for our stories on Stream Punk Entertainment. Hopefully they can get some winning ways here. If they don't, it's going to be a long season for the defending champs. They're going to raise the banner this Saturday, so if you have a chance to go, tickets are $10. $10. It's actually costs more to park.
$10.
It costs more to park than it does to go to the game. So swallow.
Go to the game, guys. You'll get a kick out of it.
Yeah, and they like beer at these games, so it's
cervezas.
So it's pretty interesting.
Mucho.
Yes, I do. I have to do this little text though. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching us. Keep the comments coming. We had a great night tonight. We'll be at full strength, I think, next week, and lights out buttons. And Bill should be here in any second. But I think we had a great show. And we'll get